A telephone glitch that caused hundreds of flights to be delayed will not be fixed before early evening, air traffic controllers have said. Thousands of passengers faced cancellations and long waits after the National Air Traffic Service, NATS, internal phone system broke down. Disruption of Sunday's flights is inevitable, NATS said, even if the problem is rectified later. Affected airports include Heathrow, Gatwick, Stansted, Cardiff and Glasgow. People are really aggravated. Children are crying. Alena, Kontza a passenger who said he had been waiting 5 hours at London's Gatwick airport, said people were crying, distraught and angry. One passenger has missed their sister's wedding. Flatman, from Brighton, told the BBC, not good enough. By midday, air traffic controllers had dealt with 2,800 flights rather than the usual 3,500 on a normal Saturday. Ryanair has 100 flights affected to and from the south of England, with 10 flights cancelled. It called on the Civil Aviation Authority to act. While we acknowledge problems can occur, where is the contingency? It's simply not good enough and the CAA needs to act now, it said in a statement. Heathrow had cancelled 228 flights by 1855 GMT, a spokeswoman said, with the grounded flights almost evenly split between departures and arrivals. Meanwhile, British Airways said the technical problems had already led to flight cancellations and warned that they will cause delays to some flights. EasyJet said although the majority of its morning flights had departed, severe delays and possible cancellations could be expected later. NATS said the problem at its Swanwick Centre, in Hampshire, arose in the early hours of Saturday morning when the nighttime operation failed to properly switch over to the daytime system. At night we manage quite big sectors of airspace because the traffic demand is low, NATS operations manager Juliet Kennedy said. During the day, as demand increases, we need to split the airspace into smaller sectors. Last night we were unable to open new positions. It was a problem with the internal telephone system. She said she expected it to be fixed between 1800 and 1830 GMT, but that how long disruption to flight schedules would continue depended on the individual airlines. She added that there had been no impact safety. The BBC's transport correspondent Richard Westgate said it was a totally different issue to a software problem that hit the control center in summer. Ms. Kennedy added, "We want to apologize to people. We are very aware of how much inconvenience this has caused people." Belfast, Edinburgh, Manchester, Birmingham, Southampton, Luton, London City, Newcastle, Exeter and Bournemouth are among other airports that have reported delays, asking passengers to check with their airlines. Stansted Airport said flights were subject to delays, while Gatwick said 20% of its departures had been delayed, with passengers being warned they may have to wait for a couple of hours. Compensation for delayed flights. In certain circumstances EU travelers can claim back up to €600 for delayed flights. Claims can be made for flights that were delayed up to 6 years ago. Airlines should always provide refreshments after a 2-hour delay and accommodation if the flight is delayed overnight. At Stansted, Alena was stuck on a Ryanair plane that had been delayed for 3 hours. She told the BBC passengers had been given absolutely no information and it's been nothing less than shambolic. People are really aggravated, children are crying, people want to leave, people want to change to different planes. It's an absolute nightmare, she said. And in Norwich, one mother said she was worried she would have to cancel a planned Christmas trip to Lapland tomorrow morning. "It's the second time we are trying to do this trip," Lisa Smith said. "We were grounded by snow 2 years ago. My son will be devastated." How do you tell a child twice they are not going to Lapland? Independent aviation analyst Chris Yates said it was going to be a day of frustrations. He said that passengers due to arrive at UK airports from overseas could find themselves diverted elsewhere. But it's going to be a long wait for them. When the system kicks back in and starts working, there will be a backlog of flights.